be that if we could go home and know that we had church this morning. All right. Whew. Welcome. We're so grateful and delighted that you're here this morning on this incredibly gorgeous fall day, and that you've chosen to be with us this morning and share in your community and be a part of this service and be lifted in the love that we have here. Truly, I'm so happy to see your faces and to be in your presence and for you to be in each other's presence. Because, man, that's what it's about. That's what we're here to do. Come together and share and celebrate. And my wish for you and my hope for you is that whatever you experience on a Sunday morning, you take as a mental equivalent for how life is supposed to be all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for joining us this morning. We'd like to welcome anybody who is here with us for the first time.
Hi, I'm Petra Weldis, Senior Minister of the Center for Spiritual Living in Dallas, and we're delighted that you found us here on the web. You can find our Sunday services on our website by every Wednesday, and we love that you can look at us online and explore these spiritual teachings. Feel free to explore our archives. It goes back a number of years with lots of special topics and amazing speakers. You can also sign up for our email news, My Daily Words, and my blog, Spiritual Living with Dr. Petra. If you're looking for a spiritual community, come visit us. Or if you're just in Dallas, drop on by. We'd love to give you a hug. Welcome home.
Thank you. And now we have a really treat. We have our own Richard Barrett, who will be talking to you about what his testimonial about the community.
First, I'm going to start by saying that y'all should take that picture down. It does not do me justice. Okay, Second, I'd like to start by saying that I absolutely love the Center for Spiritual Living. This is my first spiritual community that I've been a part of, and it will always have a special place within my heart because it has assisted me in my journey of self-discovery through self-expression. See, when I first began coming here about 4 years ago, it was during a time in my life where I was going through a lot of change, a lot of turbulent change. Earlier that year, I had been in a bad car accident, hurt my leg. Subsequently, I ended up losing the job that I had, and then a few months later, a long-term relationship with a young lady who I loved a lot was coming to an end, and it had just run its course. And on top of that, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure because of some bad habits I had, and really I was just resistant to change. And so what was on the inside was just beginning to be reflected on the outside. And it was basically, to sum it up, I felt as though my life was out of control, and I had no direction and no real purpose. I was kind of just stumbling from one experience to the next, and studying different religions, but only studying them on the surface to where I could have a conversation about it, but I wasn't really applying a lot of the principles. And then later that year, I ended up going to see one of my favorite authors speak, Neil Donald Walsh, and it happened to be here where he spoke. And at the end of that night, I went across the way and got some pamphlets, and I talked to a couple of people. I liked the vibe of the place, and I ended up coming back a couple months later for a Sunday service. And I loved the message. I loved the feeling of acceptance that I felt, and I kept coming back and ended up taking foundations class, which was very beneficial because it taught me not only the basic principles of the science of mind and helped me to become more of a conscious creator in my life, but it also gave me an opportunity to get connected to other people. It provided a safe place to where I could express some things that were going on with me and to receive that from other people as well. And what's funny, what happened is that by allowing some of those things to be released, it opened up a space within me to allow other aspects of myself to then surface. Now, I've talked about this before, and one of those was the ability to write poetic type of things. And so,
Just that little thing you do.
yes, that thing. And so I ended up writing something at the end of that class because we had to do a project, and I couldn't think of anything else to do, and I called it Pure Joy. to talk about some of the things that I learned in the class and some life experiences and things that just made me feel joy. And I'd like to share with you just a few lines because I don't have a lot of time. But I started it as, when every dimension of my mind is aligned with the realization that our true nature is that of the divine, I begin to feel the sensation of love flowing up and down my spine with absolutely no sense of space nor time. And within that moment, yes, this moment, which is the only moment, I'm evolving, revolving within my vortex of light and love as I rise above all the perceived limitations of life situations, experiencing pure joy. And so I did that. I did the rest of it, and my class got up and they applauded and gave me a lot of support and love. And that was a pivotal moment in my life because I was scared to death of speaking in front of more than 2 people. This was maybe a group of like 15. And so it helped me to get outside my current comfort zone. And it also taught me that the Center for Spiritual Living was a vehicle that we can use to not only receive a self-empowering message on Sundays, but to also to give our talents and gifts. And so I feel that all true benefits are mutual, and so I feel that it's only right for me to give back as I've received so much from the center. And I've done that in 2 ways. One is that I've joined a couple of different teams, the Welcome Team, and also as a platform assistant, which I receive a lot from that as well. And second is that I've chosen to give in financial support to the center, which I've never done before as far as giving tithes. But I get up here and when I'm platform assistant, I talk about the law of circulation, and I just want to tell you that I'm not just saying that, it really does work. I've experienced a lot more abundance since I began to give consciously. And so, and I think about it as though I'm just doing my little part to make sure that the center continues to live on and to grow for others who are going to come after we're no longer here. And when I said at the beginning that I love the Center for Spiritual Living, what ultimately I meant is that I love you. I love me. I love everybody who's ever come to those doors, who will come to those doors in the future, because that is the Center for Spiritual Living. That's us. We're there. And so I'll leave you with this. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? And if not by tapping into that invisible something within, which sustains us, and then giving, then what? What shall I say? Then what? So, I love you all. Thank you.
Lately I've been loving more. Lately I've been singing more.
Jonathan and Brandon, that's a beautiful original piece by our very own Andrew Tinker. Lately, I've been loving more. Lately, it's been easier.
Yeah.
How often do we wait to love until we're loved? How often do we wait to express our joy until we're with others who are joyful? How often do we wait to share our good until we're certain that we have enough good ourselves? Ernest Holmes reminds us over and over, we teach this in the Science of Mind, that we live from the place we want to go to. It's the ultimate spiritual practice, the ultimate spiritual paradox. We live from the place that we want to go to. We live from the very thing that we seek to call in to our lives. We live from the truth of our being, that we may express our gift and be a blessing to the world, so that our world manifests and reflects back and mirrors back to us the very thing that we seek. We live from it. And then we get to actually experience it, have it, do it, be it, express it. And how often we're waiting. We're waiting for something to happen. We're waiting for someone to do it. We're waiting for something to show up out here to tell us that, well, now it's time. Everything's okay. Now we can participate. And you know, it's easy to talk about these things or to try to get a hold of these things when we're talking about love and joy and peace and, you know, be the change you want to be in the world, and I've got to come from the peace that is the truth of my being so I can bring peace to the world. And sometimes that's hard to get a hold of. It's easy to talk about, but it's hard to get a hold of. And this is one of the reasons why this month, October, the month in which we do our prosperity program and our pledge program, is my favorite time to talk about these things. I love to talk about it. I love to talk about money. I love to talk about prosperity. And it, it's an odd thing because in so many communities and on across all faith traditions and so many community members and so many ministers, they're like, oh, they're going to talk about money again. I shouldn't have come. And they always talk about money. And yet, if the truth is that we live in the manifest body of God, if everything is an outpicturing or an expression of the divine, and if everything is a part of that one making itself manifest, it's true about money too. And one of the things that I love the most about money is that you can count it. It's very concrete. You can count it. You can see it. And we can. Well, the truth is we can't fool ourselves. Because I can say I'm giving love. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I can say I'm being peace. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I cannot say I'm giving money if I don't write the check. I'm just saying, right? And I can't see how I'm inviting the support of the universe into my life unless it is actually coming to me. Do you see what I'm saying? And so it becomes this laboratory, this place where we can really concretely get a hold of, are we practicing our spiritual principles or not? Are we living out of faith? Are we living on the edge of that which we know to be true and really allowing ourselves to step out in faith, really moving from this place of the truth of our being, regardless of whether we see it out there or not. So many of us, we might as well have been born in the show me state. Right? Yeah, well, when I get love, then I'll be loved. When I see it, then I'll believe that I'm worthy. When I'm experiencing it, then I'll believe that Spirit is supporting me. But, I hate to just let you know that it's actually the other way around, isn't it? I see it because I believe it. I see it because I move from that place. And so priming the pump, that's what we're talking about this morning. How do we get that process going? How do we get it started? And this is from our journal, the Joyous, our monthly, our annual theme, the Joyous Living Journal. I don't know why I'm looking at the title. I wrote the book. Okay, all right. No one outside you can control whether you're going to joyously let life flow through you or not. Giving is the effect of prosperous thinking. Too many individuals think they will give after value received, forgetting the spiritual truth of how richly blessed they already are. This kind of thinking pulls you down, having you look for reasons not to be living in the giving consciousness. The law of attraction can't help but honor these game players and support them in shutting off the flow. Prime the pump of life through first giving. It's the golden key that unlocks the floodgate of the infinite flow of your good. We have to prime the pump. Now, how many of you have ever had a well on a piece of property? Yeah, so you know about this priming the pump business. Okay, well, I looked for YouTube videos on what does it mean to prime the pump. I looked for something to show us what that means and like how that works, and I got sump pumps and pool pumps and all kinds of instructions, and then I found this.
Ziegler. Inspiring true performance.
Because I believe this is a story of life. I believe it's your story. I believe it's the story of America. I believe it's the story of success. I got a couple of good friends who many, many years ago were riding around in the South Alabama foothills. It was a hot August day, and they got thirsty. Bernard Haygood was driving. Jimmy Glenn was the passenger. They pulled behind this old abandoned farmhouse, and Bernard hopped out. He ran over, and there was an old pump on the well, and he grabbed the handle, and he gonna do for I drink no water?
You gotta put something in before you can get something out. Instead of waiting for the flow to start on its own. When the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It is only when we allow the divine current to flow through us, in and out, we really express life. The law of giving and receiving is definite. Ernest Holmes reminds us of this. And we have to participate in that law of giving and receiving. And that is how we build the flow in our own lives. So another way that we can think about this is we're all familiar with this area of the world, the Jordan River, here in between Israel and Jordan. And the Jordan River has two beautiful lakes or seas, the Sea of Galilee, which we all are familiar with from the stories of Jesus of Nazareth. And down here we have the Dead Sea. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And look at the difference. The Sea of Galilee is green and lush, and the Dead Sea is not. Both in the same climate, both in the same region, both fed by the same river. But there is one difference between the two, and I know that you all know what that is. The Sea of Galilee, the river comes in, and it flows back out. So the water is refreshed, and it's moving, and it is teeming with life. It is the very sea that Jesus said, "Go, be fishermen of men," because he had so many people that were fishing out of that sea. Just down the road, the Dead Sea, it only has an inflow. That's it. It only has an inflow. There's nowhere for the water to go. And so it evaporates, and it gets more and more and more salty, denser, and more dense, and nothing can live there, because it's completely stagnant. And so this is the truth of our being. We are designed to have that lake of abundance in our lives. That's ours. We can have that lake be as big as we want. That's our ability to accept it. We can go with a dipper, we can go with a bucket, a dump truck, we can go with a giant lake and say, this lake, this is my prosperity and abundance. But what keeps it alive, keeps it flowing, keeps it nourishing us and nurturing us is not only to receive the good that Spirit is forever moving and flowing into our lives, but to also let it out consciously and deliberately, to open the dam, to build that place where we are deliberately allowing the circulation, participating very consciously in that law of circulation, allowing it to flow, allowing it to move. Ernest Holmes says we should give of ourselves in love and in service, in a spirit of generosity and good fellowship. To refuse to give is to refuse to receive, for everything moves in circles. Real giving is the givingness of the self. Real giving is the givingness of the self. And you see, when we think about our spiritual practice, we so often we talk about healing my own life, demonstrating in my own life, manifesting my own experience, knowing that I'm a part of creating the experience of my own life. But we don't do this alone. We co-create our life with the divine. And the divine, as we move into right relationship with Spirit, as we're really aligning ourselves with that truth, the divine shows up in so many miraculous and serendipitous ways. And all of the miracles and angels and situations and circumstances that magically appear, that show up in some unknown way, this is the way that flow is manifesting in our lives. That's how it's demonstrating. And we are participating in that circulation, allowing ourselves to express our good, share our good, be our good, so that we keep that cycle going. And one of the ways in which we do that is the spiritual practice of deliberate, regular giving. Now, we talk about tithing. Carl did a fabulous job. Actually, after Carl and Rashad talked, and we had all this beautiful music, I thought, ooh, man, this better be good, because you don't have a whole lot to add. That was awesome. Malachi, thinking about how we with bringing in our whole selves, our whole store, and opening the floodgates, opening the windows. You know, as I said, we talk so much about our own life and healing our own life and doing the things for our own life, but there is a deep spiritual practice around this law of circulation about generosity. We have to live from that which we want to experience. We have to live from that which we want to manifest in our own lives. And so we recognize that we don't have to earn Spirit's good. It's already flowing. But do you see, if we dam it up and block it up, we're like the Dead Sea. We start holding on to it and we start hoarding it and it stagnates. And we have to open that storehouse up to let it out as well. Conscious, regular giving is a spiritual practice. We talk about 5 spiritual practices here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Dallas. We have 2 spiritual practices, meditation and visioning, that are open and receptive to the divine. We have our directive spiritual practice, which is a spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. And then we have those spiritual practices that remind us that we do not walk in this life alone, and that we are participating in co-creating life with all of life. And those are our practices of sacred service and sacred giving. Pledging, tithing, opening that flow. Now, I can remember when I first heard about tithing and learned about tithing, and I thought, wow, I wonder if that really works. And so I began, little by little, incrementally, just like I started with my meditation. You know, I have had a meditation practice in which I meditated for hours, and I started out 4 minutes a day, and then it grew, and it grew. Our spiritual practice of giving starts out with wherever we are, and then it grows. And it is the disciplined, regular practice that allows us to experience, oh, wait, I still have enough. I can give. I don't have to hold on to it. I still have enough. There is still more coming in. I'm opening myself to the flow as it's coming in because I'm allowing it to go out. I'm specifically, deliberately intending for it to move outward, because I know that as I do that, do you see, we're priming the pump. We're setting that flow in motion. We're deliberately putting ourselves in the middle of that flow and allowing it to move through us. I'll never forget the first time that I fully tithed 10%. Oh my God. I thought about that. Oh my God, this is so exciting. I remember the first time I wrote a tithe check with a comma in it. Do you know how much prosperity that meant I had? Yes. Oh my God. And I couldn't wait to start figuring out, how am I going to start writing larger tithe checks? I set myself a goal at one point that I would give away $1 million. And I have participated in giving away $1 million. And so now I'm on my second million. Yeah. Why? Because it is from that place of good. That's what we're here for. We're here to give of the fullness of our being. We're here to give the fullness of our joy, the fullness of our love, the fullness of our creativity, the fullness of our gift, the fullness of everything we have. And as we do that, as we give that, I notice for myself it becomes more and more and more empowering and exciting to experience that. Oh my God, look at what I get to give today. Wow. So, I'd like to invite the ushers to come forward, please. We are a tithing community. We receive our gifts from you. I'd like to remind you that we are 100% self-sustaining community. When you give your money, when you give your pledge or tithe, your commitment, you're not giving it to me. You're not even giving it to the organization. The truth is you're giving it to each other. Just look around the room. Every $10, $100, $1,000 you put in the plate, you're actually giving to make sure the person next to you has a seat. You're giving to make sure their child has a junior church. You're giving to make sure that these doors are open when your friend is ready to come through. That's what we're doing. We're giving it to each other. We're giving it to this community so that it's here for us, for each other. It's a form of love. It's the way that we love each other. It's the way that we love ourselves and say, I want this. I want this for me, and I want this for you, and I want this for Dallas, and I want this for all those people who are looking to know the truth of our being. And so we give out of that. We give to each other. We make it so. And all of those tithes and gifts and your pledges that you give to us, and we use to do the very best we can to be here on a Sunday morning, to be online every week, to make sure that all of the programs and services are here. And off the top of what you give us, we give 10% away. Now, I remind you, we're a 100% self-sustaining group. There's no mothership out there somewhere giving us money. We don't get money from any organization other than us. Actually, the truth is we contribute to keep them going. And so we're a part of, and we're a pretty good-sized community, and we give a lot. We're definitely in the top 10% of the communities that give to Centers for Spiritual Living. And we support every community. Every time that I get a letter from a community that says, we're growing, we need a new building, we need a new this, we're going to start a new focus ministry, whatever it is, every time we get some of that, we give money to those people because they're doing amazing work in the world, and we're spreading our good, and we're allowing it to express. We teach tithing, and we give back to the place where we are spiritually fed. And so the truth is, while we are spiritually fed by the national organization in which we are involved, they provide my license, the license of the practitioners, they provide our education system, they provide all the ways in which science of mind and spiritual living is promoted out into the world. They provide all kinds of things that feed us so that we can feed each other, and we can be here in Dallas. But most importantly, we are spiritually fed by you, by each other, by our willingness to tell the truth when we're in a committee meeting, by our openness in our classes to share our process and the things that we are going through, by our willingness to hold each other's hands when the going is tough, by our celebration when life is good and we've demonstrated something, by our willingness to be in community together and to support this community. So it is with joy and pleasure and such gratitude and glee that I tithe back to you. So the ushers are going to pass the basket, and we ask you to take an envelope. So we are tithing back to you as our spiritual source, as the source, the spiritual source for this community, to say thank you for being present, to say thank you to being a part of the most amazing thing that I've ever been a part of in my whole life, to say thank you for your willingness to be on the spiritual path with us, to collectively be a part of what makes this place happen, for you to know that you matter, that you make a difference. And let me be very clear about this. I know that there are communities that will give out money and they'll say, okay, take this money and work with God and invest it, and then give that 10% back to the church. No, this is a no strings attached tithe. You can get a latte with it. You can, buy a CD with it. And I know other places they'll say, take this money and now do a good charitable deed with it. Let me be clear. Tithing and pledging to this community is not charity. It is your spiritual practice. And it is the way in which we collectively create this amazing opportunity to grow. So you don't have to give this money to a homeless person. You don't have to give it away. Actually, my request is that you receive it in the spirit in which it's given, with deep and profound love, extraordinary respect for the fact that each one of us is walking this walk. Oh, and please don't put it back in the offering basket. Please. Let Spirit shower some good on you. Because this is the truth of tithing. And do you know, we talk about this for weeks, and I can't wait till this Sunday comes around and we can do this, and I'm always so excited, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so great, I can't wait to give this money to you guys. Like, what if you wrote your tithe check every week like that? What if that's how you felt about the good that you were experiencing in your own life, and you just wanted to give it away and spread it around because, oh my God, God is so good, and life is so amazing. That is the spirit in which we tithe. We do not give till it hurts. We give until it feels so amazing that you can't not give. That's how we give. Now, let me be very clear. Truths about tithes and pledging. God does not need your money. All right, we're very clear about that. I will not die tomorrow if you do not pledge. We do actually need your pledge. We need your pledge to be what we'll know that we can spend next year, and what amazing services and programs we can provide, and how we can pay for our staff and move forward in our vision in some amazing way. We do actually need your pledge. We need you to say, yes, I support this place, and I'm willing. Whatever it is, if you want to start out with a small amount and grow to your tithe, that's like starting out with 3 minutes of meditation and growing till you have a 30-minute meditation practice. As Randy said, no pledge is too big or too small. Yes, we actually need your pledge. But let me promise you, you need to tithe. Tithing is for you. It is the most extraordinary spiritual practice. Just like treatment is, just like visioning and meditation, these are powerful spiritual practices. The willingness to say, I cast my bread upon the waters of life, and I have faith that Spirit supports me. When we tithe from the place of enoughness. Do you see? Do you see? We are making such an outrageous claim on the universe. I can give this much away because I know the truth. Because I know how supported I am, how loved and lifted I am. Oh my God. This is the act of faith. And we are reminded that the Master Teacher came and said, may you have life and have it more abundantly. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Because when we give from that fullness. And when we give from the fullness of who we are, what does the universe say back to us? Yes. Yes. Yes, it says. You have so much fullness. You have more than enough. And you can give this because that's where we come. Let us pray. Just inviting you now to go into that deep and abiding place from which life is flowing, that impulse of life to grow and to be and to give as you. That place that causes you to get up in the morning and show up in this magical moment right here, in this joy, in this community, in this love, that impulse that is the very gift of life that is you. Oh, let us breathe that in and recognize that that is always present. That there is enough and more than enough love and life and joy and peace and prosperity and abundance in our lives, right here, right now. That we affirm that fullness. We revel in that enoughness, and we pour our good out. You see that we are constantly and forever and always being blessed by the very presence of the divine. We are blessed by that love, blessed by the joy and life of God itself. And when we receive it, we drink in the blessing. And when we give it, we become a blessing. We share that blessing. We pour that blessing out. We become conduits of the very blessing of the divine. And we are a place where blessing happens. And what joy there is in knowing that our gift matters. Our presence makes a difference. Our love lifts. Our lives touch. Our words heal. And our money matters. And so from this place, we simply allow that blessing to circulate and flow in and out and around and through in every way as effortlessly as we breathe. So breathe with me in, taking in the blessing, and breathe out, breathing out the blessing.